Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video I'll be taking a look at the Noctowl Shadow Swampert core, which I think is a very strong and solid core for the Open Great League. I think you can pair it with pretty much every save swap, and you can also turn it around and use Swampert as a lead. I choose to pair it with Registeel for this team because I like having some ice coverage, and also because this way I can use it as an ABB team using Registeel to lure out Trevenant. That way Swampert can sweep in the back. Going right into the first game, we lead into a Bastiodon. Yikes. Save swap Registeel immediately. And they swap in a Medicham, which is also pretty bad. So we throw a Sap Cannon at it before it gets up a move. And it goes all the way up to like 9 counters, so I don't think it has pop. Maybe it has Dynamic Punch. But no, it only has Psychic, meaning Registeel is gonna win the Zero Shields here. So either we take out the Medicham or we grab a shield, and they're obviously not going to let us take out Medicham because they want Bastiodon and that Noctowl, but we get a shield advantage, meaning we might be able to do some things in the back. Of course, if it's a Shadow Victory Bell, you have no play with this team, but it might be something else that Swampert can deal with up a shield. Also, Noctowl is going to face the Bastiodon no matter what, so it's just useless at this point, so I'm just saving both shield for Swampert. Brings back in the Bastiodon, we bring in Swampert, and it's a Trevenant in the back. Yikes. We are just completely RPS'd. But the thing is, Shadow Swampert, and this is why I like Shadow Swampert over regular Swampert, because Shadow Swampert actually beats Trevenant up a shield, because 2 Hydro Cannons is enough to take out the Trevenant. So we throw the second Hydro Cannon, and because Shadow Swampert gets to Hydro Cannons just a little bit faster than Trevenant gets to Seed Bomb, because it's 5 for every Seed Bomb and it's 5, 4, 5 for Hydro Cannons. So we go up 1 over the Hydro Cannon just to make sure we can outpace the Bastiodon in the back, because the Bastiodon already did 2 Smackdowns. So it's 5 Smackdowns away from a move, and that would be 15 turns, and it takes sometimes up to 16 turns to get to an Earthquake. Boom! So we go up 1 over just to make sure we can outpace it. Next game, we lead into Deoxys. This is a pretty neutral lead, because Deoxys can throw Thunderbolts or Rock Slides, and Noctowl can throw Shadow Balls. So we start off by throwing a Shadow Ball. Super effective, does quite a lot. I do end up shielding this because I don't think they're gonna Psycho Boost bait me, because then they would debuff themselves, but they do. And then they bring in Drapion, swap in Swampert. I go for the Hydro Cannon immediately because our fast moves were desynced. So this way I only give them 1 turn's worth of energy, whereas now I get an entire Mudshot through during their charge move. They throw a Crunch, and they throw another move immediately. This is just an Aqua Tail, because they were only at 4. It takes 4 for every Aqua Tail, 5 for Crunch, 6 for every Sludge Bomb. So we go up 4 more, and then we throw the Hydro Cannon on CMP on the next Aqua Tail. And they actually let it go, which is quite surprising. And we get to another Hydro Cannon. On the Obstagoon, we really want a shield here. We get the shield, because now Registeel can one-shot the Obstagoon. And this is just, it's so obvious that they're gonna try and catch, because we have a move that can one-shot them, and they have a Pokemon in the back that can resist the Focus Blast. So I just wait until they try to catch, and then I swap in my Noctowl. And I saved the Focus Blast. So at this rate, I know I'm gonna be able to win it, even though Obstagoon wins CMP. Because I have the Focus Blast on my Registeel, they're only gonna be able to get off 1 move, because I'm just gonna CMP them on the first one. And the first one is never gonna be enough, so it doesn't matter how much energy they get, because they're only gonna get 1 move off, so I choose to Shadow Ball them, just for the lulz, and then we CMP them on the first charge move, so they are not gonna get off 2. And a Focus Blast is obviously gonna one-shot an Obstagoon. Registeel wins the 0 shields against Obstagoon too, which is pretty nice. I think it wins 1 shields too, even. Next game, we lead into Stunfisk, which is a very awkward lead, because Stunfisk often has a Grass type in the back, and it's often Trevenant, so you kind of want to save the Noctowl, but it's also pretty awkward to swap in the Registeel onto Stunfisk, because you really don't want to take that Earthquake. So I throw a Shadow Ball. They go for another Rock Slide. At this point I choose to shield because I want to keep my Noctowl alive. I don't really know how to play this out, to be honest. Go for another Shadow Ball. They shield it. And it takes 5 mud shots for every Rock Slide. So they are, I think, 2 away from their next Rock Slide. And Noctowl wins CMP, so I go for it on CMP. And we actually take out the Stunfisk. And now we can swap into Registeel pretty safely onto the Drapion and lure out the Trevenant, which is in the back. Awesome. Now Swampert doesn't have to see the Trevenant. Throw 1 Zap Cannon, get the attack debuff. And they choose to they do outpace to 2 Shadow Balls. I think they should just throw them both immediately. Instead they take a Zap Cannon and shield, and now they come out with a lot of energy, which is a good play in a lot of situations. Just save up a lot of energy. But the Trevenant is just gonna throw the energy into my Noctowl. Because I'm gonna bring in my Noctowl, they're gonna swap, I'm gonna swap, and then the Trevenant is still gonna see the Noctowl. So the energy is pretty much useless. So I think they should have just saved the shield for Drapion instead. Because that shield was just a waste on Trevenant since he's gonna see the Noctowl. I go up to 5 more. I should have thrown after 4 here, just in case it had Aqua Tail. Because an Aqua Tail would have been enough. It does about 38% to a Shadow Swampert from a Shadow Drapion, and it is a regular Drapion, but it got the defense drop, so it was pretty close. It did go for the crunch, so we got the CMP, and now we can farm it down with Noctowl and throw a Sky Attack onto the Trevenant to take it out. In the next game, we lead into a Shadow Mawile, and well, I need to collect my thoughts and then realize that we have 2 better responses in the back to this. So I swap into Registeel, they farm up a lot of energy, and then swap in Medicham. We throw a Zap Cannon. Don't get the debuff. They go for a pop. And I'm thinking I would like them to throw their energy before I throw my Zap Cannon, so I let them, because I know I can take a pop from this range. This way, just when I explain this, by taking the pop, like if I throw the Zap Cannon, they can just shield it and then realize they can farm me down. But if they're not quite aware of this, like how much the pop does, they're gonna throw the pop immediately, and I'm still gonna get off my Zap Cannon, and then they're just gonna come out with a lot less energy instead. So I think that's a pretty good play. So I throw my Zap Cannon, thinking they're gonna shield it, but they don't. And then they bring in Shadow Mawile again, and they farm me all the way down. And this thing hurts so much. Like, these charge moves hurt so much. And it throws a Play Rough. It still has a lot of energy. They swap into a Mandibuzz. I load up, and then I catch the move onto Noctowl. Foul Play is neutral on both Shadow Swampert and Noctowl, but Noctowl is just a lot more tanky, so it does a lot less damage onto Noctowl. And then I choose to throw my Sky Attack immediately, because they through immediately the first time. So I want to align our fast moves so that if they throw immediately again, they're gonna throw in bad timing, which is what happens. And the second time around, I decide to go for a CMP, because I would like to land a CMP and then let them take me out, and then they're not going to have any energy for my Swampert. But instead they overfarm, and it just turns into very bad timing on my hand. Then they bring in Mawile, and I thought that because I didn't throw immediately, they were going to shield this, thinking it was a Shadow Ball, but maybe they were just counting perfectly. Or maybe they just didn't want to shield them Mawile, I don't know. But now it should be just about dry, but somehow they get to a move anyways, and I'm a bit confused. And it's because they're running Pop. They're running Fairy Wind Pop. I choose to throw immediately here because I'm at 100 energy, and I think they're gonna CMP time me. They have 2 moves as well at this point, because they overfarmed so much. I shield the first one. You should generally always throw 1 fast move before throwing your charge moves, when you're at a 2-turn to a 3-turn fast move, or a 3-turn to a 2-turn fast move, as is the case here. So throw 1 Mud Shot, then go for the Hydro Cannon. Can we get to the next one? We can. Is it enough? Yeah, it's in the red. That's not really much of a question. I'm trying to make it exciting. And we take out the Mandibuzz. Whew. That was a close one. Next game, we lead into Shadow Dragonair. this is just almost always Medicham and Bastiodon in the back. They throw on bad timing, which is huge, because usually you get to the moves at the same time, but because they let us get 2 fast moves, 2 turns worth of energy in with bad timing, I can outpace the 2 sky attacks, but I don't have enough HP to do so, so I swap into Registeel, they swap in Medicham, and they go for the pop. Why do all the Medichams run pop these days when I'm running Registeel? We go for a Zap Cannon. And you could argue I could shield this and then get off another move to take the shield or take out Medicham, but I no shielded and now they can farm me down. I really need to take out the Medicham or at least grab the last shield, because counters at this point, because they're ramped up so much, are going to do so much to Swampert. So I risk it and put in my Noctowl, and we just about get it off the sky attack, and they let it go. They bring in Bastiodon, then they bring in Shadow Dragonair. It still has quite a lot of energy, the Dragonair. The Bastiodon has done 1 smackdown in total, so it's still 6 smackdowns away from getting to a move, meaning we're going to outpace it no matter what. So, and an Earthquake will one-shot it. So all I need to be aware of at this point is to not get fast moved down. So I want to throw my Hydro Cannon immediately instead of over farming, because the Dragon Breath does a lot more damage than the smackdowns. And again, we're going to outpace the Bastiodon no matter what. Let's see, how much damage does this Earthquake do? Oh, it's so satisfying to one-shot a Bastiodon. Boom! It does like 104%. It's so awesome. Another reason to run Shadow Swampert, because regular Swampert can't one-shot a Bastiodon. Next game, we lead into a Medicham, and they stay in. The way I like to play this, if they stay in, and they just try to play up the Zero Shield, because Medicham does win the Zero Shield, I try to catch the second Ice Punch. They get to the Ice Punch at the same time as you get to the Sky Attacks, but they do swap out into Stunfisk, so I swap in Swampert. And I choose not to throw because Hydro Cannon does about 68% to Stunfisk, so it will survive and still get off its move. So I would rather over farm even more. Throw 1 before they get to the Earthquake. This should be just about enough, and it is. So we take it out, come out with a bunch of energy. And they bring in a Sableye, and it takes 6 Shadow Claws for the Sableye to get to a move. And I have pretty bad IVs on my Swampert, so I should win CMP. So I go for it on the 6th Shadow Claw, and we get the CMP and win it. At this point, I'm okay with just letting Swampert go down and leave the Sableye with no energy. It does get 1 Shadow Claw's worth of energy by farming us down here. But now we can get Registeel onto Sableye and save Noctowl for the Medicham in the back. There was a little bit of lag there, but yeah, happens. Get off the Zap Cannon. This should be just about enough, almost. And I really should just be swapping out immediately. And I also should be throwing the Shadow Ball. A Sky Attack does about 50%, and the Shadow Ball does about 56% to a Medicham. So yeah. But the Sableye is not at a move, so I can just shield this safely and farm it down, get to a move on Sableye. Nice. And we take out the Sableye. That was the last battle for today. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this team. It really is nothing special. It's just solid and one of those teams you can fall back on if everything goes wrong on a particular day. You can also flip it around, use Swampert in the lead, put Sableye as a safe swap, Noctowl in the back. It works pretty well too. Fun fact of the day, Registeel beats all of these 4 fighters with 1 Doggon's advantage, which is why the Zero Shield, which is why it's one of the best safe swaps in the Great League, I think. And it also beats Grafty and Obstagoon in the 1 shields, which is pretty cool. As I say, this is not really much of a special team, but if you want to watch a very special team and some very, very nasty gameplay, click right here. This is a juicy one. If you like this video, like and subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.